Hey guys, it's Jess and Seth with another video, and today's topic is very relevant for us.
We will be sharing with you a list of things that you should definitely bring and pack during your trip to Singapore.
Because we're going back on vacation to Singapore!
Yay! While we're prepping for our trip, we saw a lot of videos that popped out on our YouTube feed about, what you should bring, what you should not bring to Singapore. However, we didn't really think those were practical guides. So hopefully this list is useful for you, and from someone born and raised in Singapore, hopefully it might be a bit more practical.
So the first thing on our practical list is bring clothing for warm weather. You did your due diligence, you did your research, you found out Singapore is a tropical island, so you pack a load of t-shirt and shorts or skirts or whatever you're wearing in your luggage. Do not forget about that. Don't be like me. When I went the first time to Singapore, I completely forgot about shorts. I was going for a business trip. I packed my suit with dress shirts, suits, shoes, the like, jeans. I arrived in Singapore. It was super hot. I regretted it immediately. And I was lucky that I didn't have to go to work the day I arrived in Singapore, so I could go shopping and buy shorts.
Yeah, and you might want to pack a little bit more or extra t-shirts or maybe even underwear, because you're going to be sweating into them. And if you sweat into them, you might not want to wear it a second time or re-wear it because it's all stinky. And for some of you, it's really personal choice. I like to avoid wearing tight clothing when I'm back home in Singapore. For example, I avoid skinny jeans because it's just not a nice feeling sweating into skinny jeans. So I prefer something a little bit more breathable, breezy, a bit more airy in that sense.
And if you're from the northern hemisphere, such as myself, you will most likely have to deal with sweat stains as well. So the more skinny your attire is, the more likely you will have sweat stains on it. It doesn't look nice, and especially when you go indoors from outdoors. Singaporeans love to have their AC on. The air condition is running every day. It's somewhere between 18 and 20 degrees. So if you are sweating, it might get cold and uncomfortable.
Yeah, so there are a couple of ways that you can beat that. First of all, maybe pack a towel in your backpack. So once you get inside, you can wipe off all the sweat. You don't catch a cold after that. Bring an extra t-shirt if you like, even to change into a fresh one. Or sometimes, like, to beat the cold indoors, what I do personally is to pack a really light scarf or a light cardigan in my bag. That does not take too much space, so that I can just kind of wrap it around my shoulders and give me that extra warmth.
The next point on our list, it might sound contradictory to what I just said, but trust me, you want to bring at least one set of clothing that is nice. Usually for guys, it's long pants, you have a nice shirt, because there are bars and fancy restaurants that enforce a very strict dress code.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up like me, who just came out of the airport, just came out of the mall, had shorts, and it was like, oh, I'm meeting with colleagues and friends for some beers, and you were rejected at the door because they said, no, no shorts allowed.
Yeah, that was the case when we went to the Atlas bar. So
Atlas bar.
There are so many fancy bars in Singapore, so just bring nice clothing as well that you can change into.
So another item on this list that we think is very important to carry around in Singapore is an umbrella. Just bring a small umbrella in your luggage that you can fit into your backpack or in your bag, because when it's raining in Singapore, it's pouring. And unlike here in Germany, for example, where you would wear a rain jacket or a poncho or a raincoat, when it's pouring, you will get wet.
And I think with an umbrella, it's also good because then you can kind of shield yourself from the sun, the hot sun, and it just serves dual purpose.
When talking about the sun, obviously, you have to mention that for people like me who are very fair-skinned, we do need protection from the sun, and that should be sunblock or always carry a hat.
Yep. But for me, I don't really need it. So Sebastian's gonna bring loads of them, but not for me. So I think it really depends on your skin tone or how your skin reacts to the sun. But something that I definitely need when I go home to Singapore are wet wipes or wet tissues. If you're going to Singapore, you're most likely going to eat at a bunch of hawker centers. Hawker centers, you have shared tables. Usually there will be someone clearing the tables, or people usually bring their trays to the return station. However, for me personally, I just like to eat on a clean table, and having these wet wipes everywhere you go, it's good that you wipe down the table before you start eating.
They also serve another purpose because you can make a reservation of the seat you want to sit at. So you just put your wet wipes there. People in Singapore will recognize, oh, this seat is already taken. I will not sit there.
That is true. That's a very common practice. So just put your tissues, put your wet wipes on the table, and that's yours.
Another item on our list is insect repellent. While Singapore, when you're in the city, does not have many spots where you're actually encountering bugs, insects, or mosquitoes, there are areas, especially along the rivers, where the water is flowing very slowly, or when you go hiking on any nature trails, there will be mosquitoes and insects. So if you bring a mosquito repellent, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And lastly, on our list, we highly recommend for you to bring a reusable water bottle. Tap water in Singapore is safe to drink, so simply refill the water from the tap, take it out with you instead of buying plastic bottles, saving money and saving the planet as well.
Which is always good. And I think that sums it up. So do bring a small bag where you can put all these essential items in.
So many.
And you're good to go.
But that's all for today's video. We are super excited to go back to Singapore. Hopefully we have more Singapore content coming your way. But apart from that, we will see you in our next
video.